Hello guys, good evening. Is anybody there? Let me check if there's anybody watching it. Good evening people. I'm gonna type up the chat actually. Good evening. Who's there watching it? Let me know who's there. If we've got anybody else, let's wait a little bit more. A few minutes. Let's wait to check that out. Let's check that out. All right. Good evening, bro. Good evening. So let's wait. Hey, Taina. Good evening. I'm great. How about you? How are you doing there? You alright? Hey, Tanja. How's it going? Alright? All good? How you girls doing it? How you hanging there? Yeah? Alright, you're fine too. How was your day? What did you do? Did you work? All good? Alright. Yeah. Just working today. Today seemed to be a better day than yesterday, right? Yesterday was so freezing, and today we've got like sun rays during the day. A bit windy as well, but broadly speaking, was a great day today. The sunlight came in, and I think we're actually facing a weather change. Maybe tomorrow, maybe on Thursday. We'll check that out. Yeah, it's so cold, isn't it? Yeah. I know. It's so hard. To me, yeah, where are you from, Tanja? Where are you from? So to me, sometimes it feels like, before in the past, I used to think like I would love to leave in summer and have only one season the whole year. But then with time, I realized like I would rather be in different seasons. So now it's nice to be in the cold weather, but sometimes you just want to wish you got the heat and the sunlight came in, or so on. Oh, San Carlos, yeah, all right. I've never been there, but I think there is a very famous party. Usually, I don't know if it's like a event, a party, a concert, but they call it Tuska, right? Which is like all the universities, I think they go there. College people, they enjoy the party as well. Sort of like people walking in the street, just having fun, enjoying themselves. I think I've heard something about that. But San Carlos is a great city overall. I've got a few friends there. And yeah, that's it. That's it, basically. Today was a great day. I did a bit of yoga as well this morning and was great actually. I enjoyed a lot. It's not easy. Yoga sometimes can be very, very hard, the positions and everything else. You've got to stretch yourself and yeah, very, very cold, isn't it? Hello, Tamiris. So, okay, and then we've got Taina. All right. Who else is there? Yeah, yoga is so cool. So cool. Actually, my girlfriend, she's a yoga teacher, so yeah. Uh, Sometimes she helps me out, but it's really hard. It's not that easy. And yoga is related to your emotions, overall feelings, emotional thoughts, and it's not only about stretching. It's obviously about meditating as well. Um, I don't know. It's overall like you work upon your strength. Hey, Amanda. Good evening. Good evening, my dear. It's about your strength as well, how you can balance things in life, and you've got practices that are usually connected to, it could be a heart opening connected to the chakras. So we've got like different chakras, right? Like a sort of like in a straight area right here. In the middle of our body. So yoga is an awesome thing, awesome practice. Also, it connects to your spirituality as well. So depending on the practice, sometimes during sessions you could have different feelings. Like you could feel a little bit angry, sometimes a little bit. You would feel like you want to cry. You would feel like really heartwarming. It really depends on the situation, but overall idea is like it's something that you actually connected to your inner self, so that's why you got such a great practice. All right, so perfect, people. I think the last lesson, actually the two last lessons, we were talking about present perfect, and we talked about simple past as well, right? So we would make clear some differences related to those two type of different sentences, which I hope was very clear for y'all. Okay, so just to remind you, simple quick review actually. So simple past and present perfect. Okay, so basically simple past we would use for a specific situations. We would use for specific situations in the past. So basically situations where we would be very specific. So I went to San Francisco 2 years ago. I went to Bali in 2016. I was in high school when I was 15 years old. So basically, when we talk about simple past, we're talking about finished actions in the past. Perfect. Now, present perfect, which is a bit different, we're going to use when we're talking about the past, but also that is affecting the future somehow, and is an action that is somehow lasting during the past and present moment, or either past experiences that you don't want to be specific about when they happened. So you could actually say, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Germany, I've been to Europe, I've been to Latin America. So you could actually say something about the past experiences. And also, when you want to emphasize the times that you have done something. So I've been playing the guitar several times before. I've watched this movie 5 times before. So it's like you're basically emphasizing how many times you have done something. All right. So this is the basic difference between those two. And also, simple past is always a finished action in the past, right? Perfect. Now, something that I have to tell you before we start, and I've seen in a lot of my personal students actually having some difficulties related to that, which is present perfect and past perfect. Okay, so present perfect and past perfect. Now, something that you have to bear in mind. Hey, Aline, how's it going? Yeah, all right. So if you want me, just let me know. I can actually speak Portuguese if you need it. Otherwise, I would be just to speak in English, right? Let me know. Okay, so basically, the difference between present perfect and past perfect. First of all, you have to bear in mind that past perfect is the past of present perfect. So repeat after me. Past perfect is the past of present perfect. One thing has nothing to do with the other. And the same apply for simple past. Simple past is the past of present simple. Okay, do not confuse both of them. Past perfect we're going to be using in different situations that has nothing to do with present perfect. Ok? Está clear for y'all? Tá claro isso para vocês, gente? O present perfect não tem nada a ver com past perfect. O past perfect é o passado de present perfect. Ok? Tá claro isso? É importante que isso fique claro. Ok? So, as you remember, and as I just said it actually, past perfect, it's a bit similar, the structure itself, but it's not the same of a present perfect. Okay? For instance, I'm gonna write it down the whole structure. So before we start with the meaning behind of it, we're gonna talk about the structure itself, how to form the sentence. So present perfect would be then I have been to South Africa. Let's imagine that is South Africa, okay? Whereas past perfect would be I had been to South Africa. To South Africa. So basically, this is the structure itself, right? So this present perfect. Again, remember, past perfect is the past of present perfect. Okay, this must be very clear. Let me see if in this way it's better for you to see what is written. I think now it's clear, isn't it? Yeah, now it's clear. All right, perfect. So let's go. Now, present perfect, we're gonna form with the have plus the past participle of the verb. Okay, so I have been, I have done, I have played, I have talked, I have seen, right? Now, past perfect, we're gonna use the past perfect right here with the past participle of have. So I had been. We're gonna maintain the past participle right here in the second verb, but we're gonna use the auxiliary verb had, have in the past. So I had been to South Africa. So present perfect, I have been, and past perfect, I have been. Right? Now, the same apply for negatives. So instead of saying I have been, I haven't been, you're gonna say I hadn't been. I hadn't been. I hadn't been. Right? I'm gonna write it down so it's I hadn't been. I haven't been. So the negative applies for the same way. So I haven't been and I hadn't been. Right? Again, we're using the verb have, but in the past. Okay, this must be clear. This is the way we structure. Now, questions? Have you been would be the present perfect, and had you been would be the past perfect. Okay, this is the structure itself, guys. This is the structure itself. So you have to bear in mind that this is the structure itself. We're not talking about how to use it, just the structure itself here. Okay, so had you been and have you been. Now, remember, this is present perfect and this is past perfect. All right, very good indeed. Now, is there any doubt? Is there any question actually about how to form the sentences Is there any question about how to form the questions, how you structure itself? Como você forma sentenças? Is there any question about that? I hope not. I hope, yeah. No. All right. Perfect. Okay. Great. Now, when we gotta use the past perfect. So somebody said, Amanda said, past perfect I use when something happened a little time ago. All right. So, basically, past perfect, we're gonna use it when we've got more than one action in the past, and we want to be specific about the sequence of events that happened. Okay, so usually, as a rule of thumb, when we use past perfect, it means there was the first event that happened, the first action that happened first, and then we use the simple past. Okay, so when I say to you, for instance, let's imagine, let me grab an example right here. So when, usually, that's very important, okay? Usually with past perfect, we're gonna use before, after, and when. So I'm gonna write that down because those words, they are very important since they are connectors and they connect our speech and everything else. So when, after, and before. Those are words that are going to connect our sentences, okay? Now, an example. When I arrived at the party, Tom had already gone home. All right, so let's study this example, for instance, okay? When I arrived at the party, Tom had already gone home. So what happens here first? Could you tell me what happens first? So what happens first? If you had to change this sentence for present, what's going on first? First, I arrive at the party, and then Tom goes home, or is the other way around? I need to know that. Okay, let me know. I'll be waiting for you, actually. What happens first? Me arriving at the party or him going home? What happens first? Come on. Yeah, Tom goes home. Perfect. So first, what happened actually? Tom had gone home. So every time, if we go like, now, this is the easiest and most clear way of understanding the past perfect, okay? So I'm gonna write down a spectrum term right here. So basically we've got present, and here will be future, okay? Now, in the past, we've got two situations, something that happens first and then something that happens in a second manner. Now, this should be past perfect. This should be simple past. All right, very good, very good, very good, girls. So first, Tom goes home. He had gone home. So basically, when you watch this carefully. We've got a spectrum line time, right? So past perfect would be the first situation that happened. Would be the very first situation that had happened. And then another situation happened. Okay, so first past perfect and then simple past. This is key if you want to understand past perfect. Past perfect is not that hard. A lot of people, when they hear the sound of like, oh, let's learn past perfect, they think, oh my God, today is going to be a rough day. But it's actually easier than present perfect because past perfect we're going to be using just in those situations. And this, you have to understand that past perfect with simple past, we're going to use it when we are telling a story to somebody else. Besides those situations, we'll never use it. Only when we're telling a story or when we're reporting some speech or whatever. But usually you're telling a story. Okay? So past perfect is basically, that's the key and the main use of past perfect. The main usage is basically the first action between two actions that happened in the past, and then something that had happened, and then we're going to use simple past. Is that clear? Is that clear, guys? Is it? So the first action, let's highlight right now. So Tom had already go home. So this is the first one. And then I arrived is a second situation. Hello, Sandra. Good evening. So, look. First, he had already gone home. He had already gone home. Again, pay attention because we are using connectives here. So, when connecting, when. So, when I arrived, okay, at the party, Tom had already gone home. Could I change when for before? I could, if I wanted to. I could say, before I arrived at the party, Tom had already gone home. Before I arrived at the party, Tom had already gone home. So basically what happened is that he had gone home first of all. Firstly. Okay? Is that all right? Are you guys following me? Are you girls following me? So I'm going to give you another example. And then you tell me what happens first. Okay? Let me just write it down, another example. But basically, that's the main usage. It's not that hard. Past perfect is not that hard, really. English is not a complicated language. So, another example. When I got home, I found out that someone had broken into my flat. All right, so we've got another example again. So when I got home, I found out that someone had broken into my flat. When I got home, I found out that someone had broken into my flat. So what happens first here? What had happened first? Come on. Let's check that out. What had happened first? Let me know in the chat. Come on. Yeah, to break in, basically the phrasal verb to break in means to force the entrance of some place. Could be break into the bank, break into the office, break into your house. In this case would be in the past, right? So Bruna said someone broke into my flat. Tanja, someone had broken into the house. Sandra said someone broke in the flat. Taina, someone broken into the flat before. Perfect. So the first situation that happened, someone had broken into. Then I got home, and then I found out that someone had broken into. Okay? So again, very clear example of how to use the past perfect. So again, first situation, second situation. So basically, the past perfect allows us to make events and to create a sense of a spectrum of a time in the past. So sequencing of events. Well, Hafa, could I use it just simple past if I wanted to instead of saying instead of using past perfect? Could I use it that though? Yeah, you could. You could use a simple past, but using past perfect shows shows a little bit more of a knowledge that you've got from the language. So it's basically like something more natural to use it. Okay? All right, is that clear? Is that clear, people? Another example. Then the third example that we've got. Okay. Let's go for the third example. Again. So let me check one more time, and then we shall wrap it up. So again, George didn't come to the cinema because he had watched it because he had already watched the movie because he had already watched the movie. All right, so again, let's go through this sentence right here. So George didn't come to the cinema because he had already watched the movie. So what happens first here? What had happened first? What had happened first? We going to the movies or him watching the movie? What had happened first? What do you girls think? Come on. Let me know. Yeah, all right. Okay. Who else? All right. Perfect. So again, he had watched the movie before. So basically, we've got two situations in the past. If you notice, girls, I'm basically talking about two situations and I'm telling you a story. So past perfect, we're going to use it when we're telling a story and also when we have more than one action in the past and we want to be specific about which one had happened first. Okay, I think it's very, very clear. So didn't come should be the first, and then he had already watched it should be the second. Okay, so again, we are extremely clear right here. The first one, we didn't come. Oh, sorry. That's the second. Sorry, guys. So the second, and then the first one. I'm so sorry. My bad. So the first one, George had watched the movie. And then the second, he would come. We didn't come to the cinema. Okay, so he had already watched it. This is the first one. Then the second should be that we went to the movies. Okay, is that clear? Is it that clear? Because really, past perfect is all about that. Okay, it's all about that. There's nothing else you have to know about it. You just have to get used to using it. Okay, so something that I always tell my students, my personal students, is that to be used to using it, past perfect, basically means that you have to repeat. You have to repeat, 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 and also do a lot of homework. So this would definitely help you in order to achieve like something more, frequent as regarding the past perfect. So if you enjoyed the lesson, you already know. If you enjoyed the lesson, please send me that little punch that we've got of ours, which is if you understood how we have to use it, the past perfect, let me know. Just send it the punch. This is our little secret. And if you need to practice a bit about past perfect, our support of Share Class Brazil, we're gonna actually put the link there in the chat so you can actually practice. You can do the quiz, so you practice for a little. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you, all of you. And basically, you can practice. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Share Class Brazil, and also follow us on Instagram. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram, my TikTok, my YouTube channel, Shark Hafa. And I've got great tips as well. We post every day on daily basis. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Today's lesson was a great pleasure of mine. I love talking about past perfect. It's easier than it seems, right? And I hope you have a great night, you sleep tight, and you enjoy the rest of your week. All right. So I'll see you later. Bye bye. Thank you again for your company and have a great week ahead. See you. Bye bye.